Thank you so much, and Speaker Kengi, honorable senators and distinguished colleagues. It's truly an honor for me to be here today with you all, particularly given such a momentous week. There's, I think, so much for Kenya to celebrate today, and I'm proud to be here with you to celebrate that. Obviously, all democracies face challenges around the world, and there's much to do, and I know that's why you're all here to do that. But first, I want to congratulate you and thank you for your dedication and desire to be a public servant for the people of Kenya. It's a special calling, and I know that you've all have risen to that calling, and I congratulate you and look forward to working with you and the rest in the Senate, the counties, and the government to develop the vision of a Kenya that's more prosperous and equitable and serves all the people this time and the times ahead. As mentioned, I'm new here too. This is I'm celebrating my 1 month and 1 day anniversary today. I just arrived a little over a month ago. And so I'm very appreciative of the opportunities to get out and engage with leaders such as yourself. But USAID obviously is not new here in Kenya. We've been a long-standing partner with the people of Kenya, the counties and governments, including at the launch of the new Constitution of Kenya back in 2010, which is really serving as a model for democracies around the world. And then the momentous move for devolution in 2013 that this nation took in order to really help empower counties and empower communities to identify, move forward on their own priorities in ways that make sense and are individualized at the county level. And because of that, we prioritized our assistance early on to support the government, national and counties and communities in order to achieve that vision. As already mentioned, this is not an easy piece of work. It requires a lot of dedication, working through many, many issues and problems. And that's why we originally developed a program to work directly with the Senate and with the government to achieve its vision, but also to work with counties and individuals in order to plan their development priorities and achieve those development priorities. You may have come across the Ahadi project, which was launched in 2013 and ran all the way through 2020, that reached over 45,000 civil servants, both at the national level and community level, working to achieve the vision of devolution, but also over 500,000 community members to understand and participate in that process. Because ultimately, the community itself have to understand and feel that the devolution process is serving their interests and they're being heard as they go forward. And that's a critical part of our support, and a theme I want to maybe briefly come back to as well. But I think everybody has learned it takes more than just legislation to accomplish the goals of devolution. You have to develop the structures, the institutions, the infrastructure, and the capacity in order to achieve that vision. And that included within USAID. So most recently, we have began transforming the way we organize ourselves, developing what we call community liaison teams. These are individuals within USAID who are dedicated for our interactions at the county level, so that we have dedicated personnel who can understand, form those relationships, and help participate in the county development programming and linkages back to the Senate and national government to facilitate and enable devolution objectives to be achieved. We're also launching new programs to enable that to occur, to develop partnerships with local organizations, county level, ward level, and also to support our engagement with the Senate and others as we go forward. But coming out of that is also a recognition that we have to adapt our entire portfolio to move forward and support devolution objectives as we continue to partner at the national level as well. That's why across the board, whether it's our humanitarian assistance, our economic development assistance, our environment assistance, our health assistance, we're looking at how we can support the counties as well as the national government to achieve both the county level strategies and the national level strategies as we go forward. But as I said, that's not easy. And to get to your question, that I think we really have to think through the key components of devolution. And basically that is how to plan, implement, account for, and then ensure that communities have the ability to advocate and have ownership of the devolution process. So again, the challenges I think going forward are planning, because that's important for all development partners. Development works best when we can align our assistance to strategic plans. And Kenya has probably the most thought out, comprehensive framework for that, but obviously it's a challenge to move forward and make sure that those development plans are complete and reflect the needs of the citizens that they serve. And then implementation, which includes budgeting. I work for an agency that is dependent upon budgets every year from Congress. I know firsthand how difficult it is when you can't plan with any certainty what your next year's budget is going to be. And I know that's an important role that the national government and county governments are working through right now, and how important it is to understand what your budget's level will be and the parameters for that, and then do proper planning around that. And then how important it is to account for those funds. We all live in a world where people are sometimes skeptical about government financing and the need for transparency and accountability for those resources, those precious resources that are there to serve the people. Same thing in the United States, same thing in every country I've worked in, and I think that's going to be a critical challenge for us here as well, because we want to partner more directly with the people, with the government, with the counties. But it's critically important for us, and I think any development organization, to ensure that fiscal transparency and accountability is in place for all expenditures in which we're partnering directly. And then lastly, because I see I'm coming up right on my 7 minutes, I want to highlight how important it is to connect directly to the communities, to the wards, to make sure that they feel that their voices are being heard, that their priorities are being taken into account at the county and national level. And we're here to help partner with you all, with the Council of Governors, and with the national government to help facilitate that process, that communication, that ownership, and that critical component of democracy. So I'm 5 seconds short of 7 minutes, so I'll stop there and hand it over to the rest of the speakers. Thank you very much.